Today I took part in an action with Animal Rebellion. We were headed towards Arla, the biggest dairy distribution company in Europe. Here is some footage of us marching towards the factory.
I will walk with you and sing your spirit home.
And from there, be like, okay. And like,
Power to the people.
Tell me, can you hear it?
Tell me, can you hear it?
Stronger by the hour.
Stronger by the hour.
Power.
Power.
People.
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 Power.
Power.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
People got the power.
We will take a stand with an open heart and the healing hand.
I met animal rights activist Humane Hancock that I knew from YouTube. It was so surreal but also amazing. Definitely go check out his stuff. When we arrived, we played music and danced, and we all were given a piece of chalk to draw or write messages on the road. The things we wrote and created and the posters we all bought were amazing.
I will walk with you and sing your spirit home.
and from there, be like, okay. And like, categorize
Freedom, my friend, you will not walk
A few activists chained themselves to the factory, which actually prevented milk distribution. There were some incredible speeches and moments of silence for all the cows that have been exploited and killed needlessly. So I was involved in the role of outreach, and I was talking to one of the local residents who gave me this letter that Arla had sent to them earlier this week. It was sent to all the locals and starts off by warning everyone of Animal Rebellion and Arla's agreement to have a day of protesting. However, it then goes on to talk about their side of the story. Let me read you this bit. It says, "We understand the concerns of the protest organisers around the general health of the planet, but we do not believe that getting rid of dairy is the right answer. Arla is owned by dairy farmers in the UK and across Europe. Most of our owners are family-run farms with an average of 220 cows, and Arla and its farmer owners have a long track record of producing milk sustainably. We make milk less than half the emissions of milk made globally, and we have reduced our carbon footprint by 24% since 1990. We continue reducing our footprint, but also believe that even though they aren't measured, the good things about dairy should also be considered. From cows helping take carbon out of the atmosphere, through grazing, to the fertilizers their manure provides, reducing the number of chemicals needed to produce cereals and vegetables, and farmers looking after our countryside, maintaining hedges and homes for wildlife. I don't deny that farmers work very hard. In fact, Animal Rebellion don't believe in attacking individuals, which is why we're advocating for all farmers to transition to a plant-based food system. Not only because it's completely unethical, but it is terrible for the environment. Surely we all know by now that cows produce methane, which is 20 times more powerful than carbon dioxide. And the huge amount of resources it takes to produce milk it takes 12 times more land than it takes to produce oat milk and 13 times more water. There are plenty of organic plant-based fertilizers. And considering that 80% of the UK's farmland is dedicated to animal agriculture, think about how much land that would free up if we all shifted to a plant-based diet. Here's the final part. Not forgetting, of course, that dairy is also naturally nutritious, and with a growing population, and because every food impacts the environment, to feed everyone in the most sustainable way, we're going to have to eat food as nutritionally good for us as possible, made in the most sustainable way. So there is a lot of science that shows that dairy is not good for us. But putting that aside, assuming it was, going back to the facts I said earlier, it's clearly not the most sustainable way of feeding a growing population. Nutritionally, we can get everything we need from plants. So, considering the impact animal agriculture has on the environment, and considering the impact it has on the welfare of these poor animals, does that not mean that we have an obligation to change? Thank you for watching.